Are live. Cool. Alright, we're going here. Do our Alright, so we are indeed live now on Twitch. Alright, pop out. Alright, so do that, put that there. Do Facebook on this side. Live. There we go. Alright. Alright, I think we're good on all that. Got 2 viewers already, awesome. Welcome guys. I'm just gonna get everything set up and make sure all our audio is good on all the streams, and then get started. Welcome guys. Just gonna get everything set up and make sure all our audio is good on all the streams, and then
Do we need to mute something?
I did it. I already muted it.
Okay.
We're good. Alright. So that's good. Notification went out. That's cool.
It looks like it's not letting me do that checkbox thing.
Oh, really? Oh, here, then I'll get up and you can... That's a bummer. Maybe because it's... One sec, guys. Gotta send out our notifications. And we'll get started. Alright, I'll put the, here's the web page for you right there.
That's alright. I got it.
You gonna do it on there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You guys, let us know if the music is too loud. And if you can hear us just fine. Also, happy Friday. Everybody's ready for the weekend, huh? Alright, so I think that's good. Alright, cool. Alright, let's test the audio. Hello, hello. Alright, sounds good. Definitely hear a little bit of the fans though, but you know, it is what it is. Can't really do nothing about that.
Oh, sure.
Gotta have the fans, otherwise we won't be able to breathe.
Well, it's not that bad. I mean, we could actually turn them down because we're not spray painting. So if we wanted to turn them to level 2, you can. It dramatically reduces the sound. It's in the middle and on the right. Just do one click. I'm probably in the way.
Alright, let's see. I see it.
And then there's one over there.
Okay.
One click.
Alright.
Sorry guys, it takes absolutely forever to go through and post that we're live, because Facebook changed the way that you can post to share to groups. We can't just check boxes anymore. I have to go into each group individually, so I really apologize for that. It's extremely tedious.
It's tedious. But I have a mic today, so you guys can hear me.
So just give us a couple of minutes.
Oh, I'm not just some ghost kind of in the background noise. How you guys doing today? Got a few more follows last night. Last Neverine, thank you for the follow. Guardian Down, thank you for the follow. And you see we had another new subscriber on YouTube.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you for the subscribe. Few more minutes, guys.
Almost there, sorry. Okay.
Alright. Think we're ready. Let's see.
Alright. Let's go.
Alright. So first off, we're going to show you kind of, for those that didn't catch yesterday's stream, is what we're going to be painting today. This is one of our kits.
Yeah, so this is the Tread Speeder from the new series of Star Wars, and while those movies obviously are pretty highly critiqued and not so epically fantastic, the model itself, this particular model, is just something we found super interesting as far as the shape goes. Obviously, in the speeder world, it's kind of odd for there to be a speeder that actually runs along the ground, but we just love the shape of it. We love the tread idea, so we decided to build it. It's super accurate to the original prop, and we're building a 1/8 scale version of this and getting it all painted up. So if we want to skip through to the pictures of some of the reference material from the original prop, just so you guys can see what the original paint job looked like. So this is the original paint job. We're using a set of paints called Archive X paints. This is a UK-based paint company that went in and designed a set of paints, and they are based on the original Floquil paints used in the 1970s original Star Wars films. So these are accurate paints to what was actually used in Star Wars, so that's what we're using to paint all of our models. So using those paints, we are matching the colors used on this original prop, and we're making some minor alterations to do a little bit more realistic appearances based upon our kind of style. I come from a pretty extensive modeling background, so we're going to do a little bit of ILM modeling, and then also a little bit of tank work slash old school modeling as well, as far as the paint job goes and weathering goes. So let's switch to what we've done yesterday.
What we did yesterday. Oh, the camera's on.
Yep.
Sorry about that, guys.
There we go.
So we'll get that front camera working here in a sec. Sometimes it just takes a sec for it to turn on.
Should be going. Hold on. See if it's working.
Oh.
Is it plugged in over there?
Yeah, it's good. Alright,
Here we go. Should work now.
Sec. We gotta give it a sec. Technical difficulties, yeah. Alright, hold on.
Let's just reload this real fast.
Yeah. There we go. I hit the button. Boom. All right.
Okay, cool. That's our front camera. Okay, so what we did yesterday, we used our ILM Stormy Sea, which is what I think is a pretty darn close match to what they used in the movie to do our base color. So this was primed out in black, because this is actually a two-tone color. Our top cap is primed in gray, and then also uses Stormy Sea to make a lighter Stormy Sea color. And then the bottom is primed in black, and then uses this color for the base and creates a darker tone. We then went through using a set of special effects paints called Metal Rust Effects, which basically comes with a bottle of iron oxidizing paint and a bottle of rust activator, and you apply the iron paint and then you apply the activator on top after you let everything dry. You put a couple of coats of each and then you let it do its job, and you get this absolutely beautiful
patina and like
rust patina. And what's really cool about it is it actually gives you the texture of the rust versus just the color tones. So we can go back and we can alter this as much as we want to with our rust paints, just like you would in regular modeling practices, but we have the texture of the rust that we want. So I went through off camera and I did some extra work doing some rust work on some of the parts that we knew were going to be rust, so that we could go and speed through some of this stuff. I put some rubber on our front pads, so these are the front pads of the tread. For that we used grimy black, which has a little bit of green to it, but it is a very light color. We may end up making this a little bit lighter because there's a specific flatness to rubber that's really important. For the black of the seats, I used engine black, and I believe what we're going to do here is we're going to end up making this look like a vinyl or a leather. So this is going to end up being a glossy black, and then once the weathering goes on, you're going to get a mixture of gloss and flat tones, which should give it this really nice realistic appearance. So today's task is to get this thing painted up, and then we're going to go through, and if we switch back over to our reference material here in a second, once you load up like maybe a good side view where we can see those patches, yeah. So let's load that picture up.
Alright.
And we're going to do some of this dry brushing. So zoom in on that picture.
Alright, let's load it a little bit more.
So we've got all this nice scratching and weathering. Yesterday, I made the mistake of trying to actually like do some micro scratches and stuff like that, and it just did not work at all. So we're going to go in, we're going to do some dry brushing, we're going to kind of weather our base coat on both the top cap and on our main body. Try to get some of the main color tones in on this guy. Basically do as much work on this part as we possibly can, so that in the next stream next week we can do our figure and we can start working on our base, because we want this thing to be locked in. This is actually filled with plaster in the front, foam in the back, with a big brass rod all the way through it. We need to figure out a way to anchor this to our base, which is a nice sandy base, which we're going to actually coat in more sand to make a very good, strong base because it's all kind of floaty. So we're going to be running some brass through the bottom and all kinds of cool stuff. So, anyway, let's go ahead and get started with the very beginning, which is unfortunately removing our beautiful piece so that we can base coat our top cap. So I will set this to the side for a second so that we can work with this piece. And we don't need our turntable here for a second. So, for anybody who was not here before, we'll start with the very beginning of how to work with ArchiveX paints as far as I know. I'm new to the ArchiveX paints. I'm used to working with miniature paints, very high pigmented paints, usually acrylics. So this stuff is actually really, really nice to work with. Enamel paints airbrush extremely well, as you'll see. So our first step, though, is we're going to use this amazing tool called a Vortex Mixer. It has a very short cord, I apologize. So this Vortex Mixer is used in chem labs as well as salons, nail salons. And basically all you have to do is press the top, and it's got a super awesome vibrating motor inside. And you just take your paint and you press, and it's going to do a super shake on your paint. And this is super helpful for especially high pigmented, high quality paints. A lot of the time you would put a ball bearing or two inside of a bottle of paint to help you mix the paints. But this is even better because it's going to super mix the paints. You're not going to have to worry about any consistency issues when you deal with taking your paint out of the bottle. So I'm going to mix this thing up nice and good. And then you're hearing the sound of the air compressor going as we get our airbrush ready to go.
Oh, Guardian, thank you for the follow, man.
And if you're on Twitch, you can follow us for free with your Prime subscription, I believe. So feel free to do that as we get our little video channel going. So our goal is to be able to do these long live streams at a minimum of twice a week. Justin will be over here at the studio twice a week to help with the live streams. And then on our website that we're building over the next 2 weeks, we will be working on probably our pod racer, maybe even the big boy, hint, 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 on our website through our membership. So if you guys want to watch that, just stay tuned. We will have an announcement of when that website is finished, and you can start being a part of classes and other entertainment, giveaways, contests, all kinds of stuff on the website. So make a note of merlinmodels.com. If you're watching a replay, the website might already be done and there might be tons of content out there. But as we're just getting started on this new part to our venture, we are just getting going. But we plan on shooting video at least 5 days a week.
Oh yeah.
But these live streams will be happening starting next week, Wednesdays and Thursdays. And we may do an evening stream and then a daytime stream, just so we can help with people at work, people at home, etc., etc. Okay, so I'm mixing this less than 50% because we want this to go on nice and thin. So it's probably a third paint to 2/3 odorless mineral spirits, which you can get anywhere, like any normal shop. I picked mine up at Lowe's, which is here in the United States. Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart, Ace Hardware. So just think of your general spot. The airbrush that I'm using for basic spraying is a Masters airbrush, which you can get on Amazon for $25. I also have a $200 Harder & Steinbeck airbrush. The needles are $65 a piece. This has an amazing amount of control. I can do super fine lines, all of the detail that I want. It's an absolutely amazing brush. Every single part of this costs an arm and a leg, and I use it when I need it. But if I'm doing regular spraying, this thing works just fine. It does not have the control by any stretch of the imagination, but it is super easy to replace. So if you're looking to get started airbrushing, this will do. You can put down color. You can do some basic detailing. Basically, this will teach you what you need to know before you want to start doing small things, if that makes sense. Like, I wouldn't use this if you're going to do control. But if you're going to do just your basic stuff, get used to using an airbrush while you're saving money for, let's say, an Iwata, which would be the workhorse, then this is how you get started. And we will be having a full class on airbrushes, how to choose your airbrush, what the best airbrushes are. That will all be on our website. So, again, stay tuned. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Alright, I'm just going to suck this paint right up into my eyedropper and put it right into the airbrush. And then we're just going to start painting.
Thank you, Carson, for the nice comment. You said your design is pretty darn exact to the life-size prop.
Thanks, Carson. I appreciate it. So this enamel paint dries really quick. So we can go with just very nice, even coats. Very thin.
Rob says he doesn't see many southpaws.
He what?
Rob Schmidt says, don't see many southpaws.
Oh, yeah. Hey, we're the cool people. At least I like to think so. I apologize if you hear my dog barking. It just means that there's probably a package coming with more art supplies.
More goodies. And feel free to let us know if like the music's too loud or if something, and then I can always adjust it here on the stream.
So you can see that because the paint is thin, again, it's requiring a lot of coats, but that's totally fine because we have a lot of control over it right now. And if it was so thick, that lack of control could cause you issues. Eventually we'll flip this over to paint that back side. Alright, before I run out of paint, good way to mix this up, because it does unmix pretty quickly, is just to swish it back and forth. Right back in. And if I change, or if I put more paint in, if I let it sit for a second, I like to kind of get the spray started away from the paint, or away from the model. And if I forget, it's always that one time that I forget that it splooges out. And you make a mess on your model. So it's good to, especially if you're getting started, try to get in the habit of starting your airbrush flow off the model onto your work surface or into a paper towel or something like that, just to get everything going so that you know that it's working properly. So we're starting to get some tones here.
Yeah. Nice.
So we're just going to keep on going. The more we do this, the lighter it's going to end up getting. But I think we're getting pretty darn close to a good consistency now. Try not to forget about my angles here. Alright, I'm just hitting it without pulling back on the trigger, so I'm just hitting it with air. I'm pulling back on the trigger. I'm just hitting it with air. And this is just helping to speed the drying process. Alright, we're almost done.
Nice.
Okay, cool. So while we let that cure up a little bit, let's clean this airbrush out real fast. So I just have a Tupperware container with a paper or washcloth in it. So all I'm gonna do is just empty out my paint, put some mineral spirits in there. I have a throwaway brush. I'm gonna start working the edges of my bowl, because there's going to be dry paint, especially towards the top. So we're going to get that dry paint all nice and loose, mix that back in, and you may think that there possibly would be chipping, but I haven't had any pieces of chip like catch in the airbrush or get clogged or anything like that. It just flows right back through. But if you wanted to, you could do this and empty it out and then fill it, if you're worried about that.
Jerry says still using Archive X paint. Yes, Jerry, that's what we're going to be using for most of the paint on this build. Is Archive X.
Yeah, I think almost exclusively we'll be using Archive X paint on this build. Is that Jerry Stip? Yep. Hey, Jerry. Glad to see you being able to watch the stream, man. Okay. So let's get this bad boy back out here. We'll put that back up on there. So.
So Jerry, the only paint we did not use that's not Archive X is the way we do the rust. It's a special product we got off Amazon, actually. Yeah,
so you can rewatch the stream if you want to learn about how we use it, but this is the material that we use. It's called Modern Masters Metal Rust Effects, and it's pretty darn cool stuff. I'm sure we'll use it again during the stream, but you can watch in the replays how it works. But you can see that it's pretty freaking realistic. I mean, it's real rust, actually, so yeah. It's super realistic. Okay.
So it's a beast.
So you can see that even though it's the exact same paint, you've got a lighter tone on top because of the gray primer, and then darker tone on bottom because of the black primer. And that's exactly how we want it to be from looking at the pictures of the real thing. So, next step is going to be the dry brushing. And I believe what I want to do is I want to dry brush with the light blue 5.5. Instead of doing it gray, I think the light blue is actually going to be a better tone.
Mm-hmm. Kind of give it that highlight.
So we're going to start by mixing that up.
So you see a little bit more of the rust.
So dry brushing, you do not want to use good brushes. So use throwaway brushes or try to find some really good, thick, stiff brushes specifically for dry brushing or just for your personal use for dry brushing. That's always a good thing to do. But this dry brushing is a technique that destroys brushes, so just be wary of that. Okay. So we're going to use I think we're going to use this flat. Not super stiff.
A little bit higher.
But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it.
Make it shorter?
To make it stiffer.
Mm.
I'm going to do this off camera just so I don't spread hair all over the place.
There's a knife right here. You want to probably use scissors, huh?
Okay. So now we have a smaller brush. It is now stiffer. And we can use this for dry brushing. So, dry brushing technique, for those of you who don't know, involves a paper towel. Because you're going to be blotting your paint. So you take a little bit of paint. And then we blot. And then we stroke. And it's a pretty forceful motion.
Rob says dry brushing less is more.
Now, with this being a big model, obviously we're going to be, there's some like chipping involved, where we're going to be going a little bit heavier handed, but
It's just kind of supposed to catch all the little ridges and stuff.
right now we're just going to catch, yeah, we're trying to catch ridges. We're trying to grab the highlights. Grab the texture, preferably not the 3D printing texture. But we scratched the crap out of that thing and then sanded it down, so. There's not much 3D printing texture left on this thing.
It's pretty smooth.
Let me see if I can change my aperture priority on the little camera so that you can get a better view. Let's see here. You might see my camera settings, by the way, so. Let's see. Focus mode.
I don't know if there's a way to lock the focus.
Possibly. Yeah, is it not?
Yeah.
It's not changing, right?
Nope, you're good.
Cool.
Nice.
So as long as everything stays right where it's at, cool.
Should be good. Hi guys, welcome to the stream. Hope you guys are all having a great Friday. Hello from France. Awesome. Thank you, Valentine. Sorry if I butchered your name.
Ah, hey, how are you?
We got some people from France watching.
Yeah, Valentine.
Awesome.
Nice.
Valentine. Yeah.
Sorry, Justin doesn't know most of your names.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's good to see you guys. Don't forget to make sure to write in the chat if you have any questions whatsoever, because I can pause at any point to let you know. So right now I'm just kind of weathering down this paint, or this this base color.
Can we turn this off?
Yeah.
There we go.
So we have to expect that this thing was sitting in the desert for quite a while.
Got a lot of wear and tear on it.
So the paint would not have been done well. We're expecting that the First Order doesn't take care of their stuff.
Yeah, why take care of it when you can just buy more stuff? They got all that money.
This stuff blends super, super, super well. As far as the difference between dry brushing up with an enamel versus dry brushing with an acrylic. I'm very curious to see what happens with their acrylic line. Because coming from the enamel, or from the acrylic world, this stuff is amazing. I just feel like I have so much more control.
Plus, have massive variety of colors too. They all look really good. I'll tell you guys, this looks even better in person. Yeah, it blends very well.
So we've got to go in, like, this panel is a different color.
Mm-hmm.
Some of this stuff is different colors, so we have to pay attention. Like, this is not done yet. And I got to be careful not to touch my beautiful engine work. So the top of this metal plate should definitely be highlighted. And there'd be lots of wear and tear on this. See how just by rubbing down the center, just keep on grabbing these edges. And I'm not worried about, like, accidentally hitting any of the seats or anything like that. That's all just black, so easily cover back over it. Alright, so I'm not being haphazard. It may look like it, but I'm not being haphazard. I am following a direction. Or rain. So usually you have elements moving down in a direction. And then you also have dirt and debris from the vehicle moving this way. So everything's going to go down or backwards.
Aaron says brutal. Yes, it is very cool. Such an impressive piece. I think it's just cool design because it's like a, snowmobile, but like on steroids.
Yeah. So let's go back up to the front now. Sorry, I forgot that we have that focus locked. There would be quite a bit down here.
All rocks and stuff banging up against it. Nice.
Okay. Again.
Thank you, Jahan. Jahan says the Hot Toys scale are Black Series. This is so this is 1/8. It's bigger than Black Series. But we have printed it in a Black Series scale, and it's impressive even at that scale. How's it going, Daily Drives? How you doing today? just looks sick. It's looking better and better.
Oh yeah. I need to work on that barrel.
Just still wanting to.
I glued that back in, but it's pointing upwards now. We'll fix that later.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's figure out this guy so that we can do its weathering. So we'll pop the cap on that. Got some mineral spirits here for...
Jahan's asking if you paint Star Wars Legion models.
I haven't. I've got a very small collection of Legion models. I was gonna get into it, and then COVID happened, and then I decided not to. And of course, you know, now we build, you know, collectible models. But I do paint. I have a very extensive Kickstarter board game collection. I've got tons of miniature figures, Kingdom Death, Joan of Arc, bunch of, you know, RPG miniatures. So like my experience in painting for, I would say maybe the last 15 years has been mostly in figure painting. And I got into board games because I loved the idea of the community, and I loved the tactile feel of games more than video games. And then I also loved the idea of being able to get all the miniatures for cheap to be able to paint. Because I used to paint 75mm and 90mm figures for fun. That was my thing. I loved the diorama stuff, and then back in my modeling days, I loved the 1/35th scale figures and making dioramas with planes and tanks and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, I've been a model maker since I was 8 years old. So I've done tons of figure painting, but I haven't done a lot of Legion painting, though we will be, because we do have a lot of 1/48th scale collectibles. And I think for our channel, it would be really, really cool to do some diorama style collectible stuff. So we will be highlighting some different companies that do Legion scale miniatures, because we'll be purchasing some of their figures to go with our vehicles and ships. So, for example, we have an AAT model that we'll be building for our channel very soon that is freaking accurate, gorgeous, beautiful, and we'll be buying some characters in Legion scale and then making them 1/24th scale for the diorama. So, long answer to that question, but yeah. I need a little bit of water, so Justin's gonna chat with you for just a second while I grab some water, and then we will switch over to the details for this piece. So 1 sec.
And for those that are just joining the stream, I'll give you an idea of what you're doing. So we are painting a 1/8 scale version of our tread speeder model kit. So to kind of run through a couple of different examples. So here is the real one they used in the movie. So we kind of took this as reference, and then we're kind of getting a little bit of inspiration for the paint on this, but we're not going to go true to the exact movie version. We're going to kind of do like our own thing, kind of make it a little bit more weathered and kind of a little bit closer to like what you would see with like an actual like real army tank. So we're kind of taking inspiration from this on like how the rust kind of builds up on a lot of the pieces, and you know, also the way that you get the paint fading all over it. So and you can see on our the treads, they are really rusted out. We kind of like the way that kind of looked like on some of these tanks. So zoom that in. There you go. So you can see like pretty much everything except for the rubber pads have been rusted out. So that's kind of what we did for our tread speeder, and I think it turned out pretty good. Let's see. Jahan, you said you have dragons from Joan of Arc? Yeah. Dragon. That's cool, man. Yeah, Ethan's definitely more of the model painter. I'm more of the model maker. So I make the 3D models. And then we print them and he paints them. So he's going to teach me though how to paint. So, and hopefully the next couple months. So I will be taking the class with you guys.
Yeah, we've kind of shifted. I mean, when we first started this company, both of us have been in the CG industry for 12 years. Justin's been in it a little bit longer than I have, but we both have been in the industry for a very long time. But now, because of kind of how our roles have shifted, I'm going to be doing a little bit less of the model making, though I will still have projects. I'm working on the Tidarium shuttle right now. Hopefully that'll be finished soon. And I'll be doing a lot of engineering work behind the scenes as models get done. But I'll be recording video for you guys as much as physically possible, because that's going to be the plan, is to get as much video content out there as much as, you know, again, as physically possible for you guys. And then Justin will be making models for us, and then we've got some other people that we're partnering with to make more stuff, and then we've got some collaborations possibly with some people. So, you know, we're going to try to, again, just do tons and tons of stuff for you guys. So we want to try to make it all unique items that aren't normally seen, so that there's always something really, really interesting, and it's not just kind of the run-of-the-mill things that are getting built and painted. It's all just really, really unique, cool, awesome items. So that's kind of the plan. And then, of course, a whole series of classes so that you guys can learn how to do this too, from the very beginning of choosing a 3D printer, how to print, how to troubleshoot, how to go through the process of cleaning, post-processing, how to put the prints together, how to fix your seams, and then through the process of building and painting. And we'll go through lots of different types of models, and then go through how to do it cheaply, how to step up your game, different types of tools, different types of paint, you know, all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's going to be a very extensive class. I'm seeing like more than 100 modules easily before it's all over, and it's gonna be good. So,
oh yeah,
look for some really cool things over the next couple of months. Not to mention, of course, tons of more models and original models too. So not only are we just going to continue to do fan art for making cool videos, but we're also going to be releasing original artwork and sculptures and stuff like that for sale. So some really cool things in the future. Looking forward to it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so let's pull up our reference real quick and let's look and see what our colors for the top cap are.
That reference image. Get a better one. So it looks like it's similar. But it's definitely a little bit lighter. So you got the little bit lighter.
Yeah, I need to see what that side panel is, and then we need to see what that cable looks like. That picture might be high res. Yeah.
There we go.
So is that a green color?
It does look like it's got a slight greenish hue to it. Kind of like almost like a greenish, like beige.
I'm almost wondering if that's one of the Slave 1 greens, which I don't know if I have in ArchiveX. Unfortunately, we might have to pull out one of the Tamiyas. Because I definitely have it in Tamiya. Because I mean, I've got this one, but
So
that's
like
not it.
Looks like it's like
It's much
maybe
lighter than that.
a little bit of that, like if you, a little bit of this, like those would be like mixed.
No, we're not gonna mix.
Okay.
I mean, I know that we're gonna end up using our Lark dark gray. It looks like for our little side bits.
Those little bits right here. And here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it looks like we need to use our light green.
Yeah, for like these
Slave 1 green.
for these two panels. Yeah, because that's probably I bet that's pretty much the same color as this.
Yeah.
So, which is interesting.
Okay. So I guess we're not going to be completely ArchiveX just because I don't have that color. I don't have the complete set, unfortunately. So, Guy, if you're watching, I know that we're not in the big times yet, but if you feel like doing it whenever your acrylic set is ready to go, we would love a set of acrylic paints. So, we will showcase it for you. Hint, hint. Anyway, let me go grab a set of Tamiya paints. I'll be right back.
Nice. Oh, dude, that's like perfect. Wow. Yeah. Tamiya to the rescue.
So XF71
Hold on, I'll switch to the front camera.
appears to be the right color.
Yeah.
So let's put this in the mixer. When I know we're, for anybody that's watching the replay or anybody that's live, we're pitching a lot, but obviously since this is brand new, we're trying to get everybody involved. But if you guys could share this on your own pages and on your own groups and all that kind of stuff so we could build interest and get this stream up, we'd love to be able to get this up to where we're having lots of viewers and stuff, so please share. Okay. So this one's in acrylic paint. So we'll grab... I'm going to grab our number 2.
Joey says, awesome. Love seeing paint work for models like this. Thank you, Joey.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, John, for joining the stream. You guys are having a great Friday.
Okay. Got that one.
The little small ones also.
This one here.
And almost, it looks like even these are almost the same color too. These on the guns.
I think those are silver, but I'm not sure.
It's a little hard to tell from the pictures. Let's see, let's check a different one. Oh no, it looks like it's just painted the same color as that plate. So. Get a better color from the different angle. Oh, wow. No, they're definitely different color. Huh. Let's zoom in on this. I'll show you guys a piece right here. Definitely looks like it's maybe the same color, but actually it looks like it's slightly different. Maybe you're right, I think it is silver on the gun. if it's just me. I wonder if those. It looks like the handles are also a lighter color too than the main. Switch it for. So it looks like the handles are a little bit lighter as well.
That's not a good picture. We need to look
Yeah.
at this. We need to look at a side view because
Side
that's in
view.
highlight.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know. Definitely pretty close. Let's check this one out. It's kind of hard to tell because I think they're just underlighting it. So I don't know if it's just.
That's a good question.
I don't know. Guess we just maybe when.
Hey, John. Good to see you. Sorry, just noticed that you're here. John Simmons, fantastic painter, by the way. Go check out his page on ArchiveX. Browse through his stuff. Fantastic painter.
Oh yeah.
One of the best Star Wars painters out there.
I don't know.
Does
It
kind
doesn't-
of have the appearance of green, but it doesn't match the green.
It doesn't
that
actually.
green.
It's not the same as
So
this.
that's kind of what I'm thinking, that it's the same. It just might be underlit
maybe.
because it does have kind of the appearance of the tube
Mm-hmm.
of that exhaust tube right there.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, it is very similar. Well, I guess we just leave for now, and then we can just
Yeah.
Um,
Scroll over to this piece. Want to see what's,
piece. That piece is
and then see if you can zoom in on the one on the other side,
alright.
because
There
we
you go.
didn't match it, so I need to see what that piece looks like.
It's more of a silver. And then the darker, the tube right here is definitely darker.
All right, so let's get our Lark. We'll finish up this side real quick.
Cool. Nice. They showed the grill being the same color. I wonder if we should add a little bit of rust to it. What do you think?
Of what?
The grill on the very front of the.
Here?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay, so this is the ArchiveX Lark Dark Gray.
Nice. Joey says that rust effect. I didn't see that yesterday's stream. What paint did you guys use for that? It looks awesome. I want to try that in some of the models I'm painting.
It is. You can watch a replay of the stream to get a good idea of what it is,
See if I can
or
pull it
how
up.
it's used. But it is Modern Masters Rust Effects.
Alright, that's a little hard to see. Here you go. Modern Masters Rust Effects. There you go. That looks like it's backwards. It's mirrored. But yeah, it actually uses real rust. So that's how you get that crazy texture. You can get it on Amazon. You're very welcome. Yeah, basically you paint it on and you just paint it's like you're painting the iron on into the cracks and stuff, and then you have an activator that just causes the paint to actually rust. So that way you get that crazy texture and all the different depths of color and patina like you would with real rust. Because I think actually, I mean, it really is rust. So.
It's not a fix all though. I mean,
Right.
it does its job, but
Still gonna have to do some touch up and stuff with your rust colors to finish it out.
and you have to be careful because it can stain your regular paints. For this kind of work, it's super important to have your hand anchored. So you can see that my pinky finger is firmly anchored to the piece that I'm painting.
I don't think it's a next one. Let me switch to the top view. There we go.
Otherwise, I would be all over the place.
Let's see. Before we paint that one, it looks like it is a little bit lighter than that one. See, so it's more of a silver.
Show me a head-on view. It looked like there was darker on the outside frame, and then it was lighter in the middle. But
It could just be the way they have it rusted. Let me see. Here's the side. So yeah, it looks like it is darker on the outside frame. It's lighter. But who knows? I mean, it could just be.
I'm gonna do the cross members, and then
Oh,
it looks like all the handlebars are this color.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me switch back to the. Here's the handlebars. Yeah, they're definitely the darker.
Yeah.
So I will show. You guys can see what I'm talking about. So the handlebars are the darker color, like the side pieces.
I'm just gonna kind of.
Should get them.
We're gonna paint over it with different color.
Mm-hmm. Of course, I'll also be adding rust and bits.
Okay.
Guys, feel free to ask any questions if there's some you see or you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I'm just concentrating. There's not much to say about covering these things. The base coloring process is always probably the least exciting part, but we have to do it before we can get to the fun stuff here in a second.
Oh yeah. Looks like those L brackets are also the same color.
These ones?
Mm-hmm. See. Looks like it's just those, the L brackets.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
It's alright, not perfect. It's okay. Weather it out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we need to switch paint to get that little box done.
What do you think? This one?
That's great. It's gonna be
The silver.
the Lark light gray. I'm guessing for the outer part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely. You're right, light gray. Looks like these are also the same, probably the same color.
Yeah, all the little boxes then?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Even these looks like a lot of the instruments on the inside are probably the same color.
That's what I'm thinking.
So how you guys doing today? Y'all ready for the weekend? Got any cool models you're gonna be building or painting?
I think we're gonna switch brushes. This one's getting kind of ready.
It's a smaller brush.
Yeah.
Hi, Aaron. Yeah, we are using Archive X for most of the paints on this. Actually, for pretty much all the paints on this. He wants to know what all paints we've used so far. So I can grab a few of these. So right now, Ethan is using what's this one called? Lark Light Gray to do all the little lighter gray pieces. pretty sure we use Stormy Sea as the base color for the main
Yep.
body.
So the lower body is primed in black, and then it's Stormy Sea is the main base color. The upper body, the upper cap, is primed in gray, and then it's also Stormy Sea, because they're basically two different tones of Stormy Sea. Then part of the engine pieces, or all the little accessory pieces, are Lark dark gray, and then part of them are Lark light gray. Then
The highlight pieces we've been doing light blue on.
the highlight pieces is light blue. The tank tread is a grimy black. The seat color is engine black, which is not necessarily the right color, but we're gonna go for it. It's actually gonna be like a shiny leather black. The rust color is Modern Masters Metal Rust Effects, and then we'll go in and do some more weathering on top of that. And then the green here, we don't have the ArchiveX green paints, so we're using XF71, but there is a ArchiveX version of this, or the similar Floatwheel. And that's it. Is there a picture of these here, or this up here?
Let's see.
Let's see what we got.
Don't believe so.
No. No top, nothing on the top.
There's not a top, but oh well. Actually, it looks like it's gray. There's a bit of it right there, so it's that same gray color. Yeah. I bet those side pieces honestly would be painted in anyways.
As soon as this is done with the base colors, which we're about to be finished with, we're going to take a short recess,
Grab some water. Just gotta stay hydrated.
and then we'll be right back in 5 for the second half, which will consist of lots of weathering, all the fun stuff.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Okay.
Nice. Look good.
So, there's our base colors for, I think, pretty much most of it. So now we've got to go in and put a plan together for weathering up this part, and then we've got a ton of detailing to do. And then we've got, obviously, multiple layers of weathering to bring in the ultimate level of realism for this piece before we bring in the figure to start painting the figure. So, lots more to come. We'll be right back in 5 minutes or so.
Yep.
So, hold tight, and then we'll be ready for questions if you guys have any questions about the process or anything else. So, come up with some questions, stuff like that. We'll be right back, okay?
Alright, see you guys soon. We are back.
Okay,
Thank you
guys.
guys for waiting.
Yeah, thank you for letting us step aside for a second. Okay, so back to work on this bad boy. So now that we're done with the base coating, it's time to step back into our dry brushing, but now we're going to go back to the top. And start hitting these.
Add that nice patina to the top for the sun damage. Especially being out in the desert. Of course, who knows? They probably even had these on other planets as well.
Guess we can
Probably, yeah. Just don't take the top off.
take this off. Let me know if my focus is shifting to my hand or not.
Nope, it's good. Right on the spot where you're painting.
So we're trying to go for that nice windswept look. So broad strokes, letting that enamel blend.
Joseph says, "Wow, almost done."
No.
We've only just begun. This is the we get to finally start doing the fun stuff. Now it's time for the detail-y bits and weathering and many more layers.
Yep, we have just begun.
It's a lot of fun, cool stuff now. Try and give it that sun damaged look.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Okay, that looks pretty good.
Nice, yeah.
So I like this subtlety a little bit more. I was saying that I feel like this might have been a little bit overboard. But we can tone that down a little bit. Let's see. What would be... good choices here?
Let's see.
I think it might be time to break out the airbrush and start doing a little bit of breakup. Because we're not to the point yet where we're going to start doing some like oil drips or anything like that. Because eventually we're going to do, we've got to put a lot of like oil stains and stuff like that over here, which I've got to do some more study work on. We've got to finish up this stuff. We've got to do a lot of detail work here, which means we've got to do a little bit of rust work on this stuff. In very, very careful areas. We've got to do some lightening on here with a lighter green. Yep. We've got to do oil stains in here. But some of that stuff we have to wait for because it's all very dependent upon the right gloss color, which means all of this has to be finished and sealed, and then you go back on, because once we seal it, or if we seal afterwards, then that's going to cover over our differences between flat and gloss and stuff like that, and we don't want to mess with any of that kind of thing. So you have to be very careful with the combinations of gloss versus seal.
Well, I guess we could do the work on the grill right there.
We do have the grill that we need to cover with a wash. So let me look and see what we've got in our archive for some breakup colors. Because we could throw in some greens.
Some greens and about a little bit of beige. We kind of like this.
We're not going to do any beiges yet, because beiges is all going to be with pigments.
Oh, true.
And throw in... I'm trying to think of what we can do for some of the bottom stuff. Got some gray green, some dark green.
I like that gray green. Probably put it like in there. Some little...
Because this has blue in it.
piping.
I'm trying to think of what has blue in it. Sorry for the vibrating camera.
Okay, I'll switch to the top. Yeah, it's not as vibrating on the top one.
Yeah. Alright, so we're going to add some green, which is an interesting color combination, I know, but it's going to be very thin.
Almost like a wash. Kind of give it a little bit of breakup.
But it's not a wash. It is for breakup. But think of it as just like it's like a blender or a filter. Think of it as a filter. It's called a filter.
Cool.
Crank up the old airbrush. So we're going to use this this dark green from ArchiveX. It has a lot of blue in it, and that's why I'm using it. And again, we're going to go very light and just kind of over some of these darker areas. We may do a little bit up here, but again, I'm just kind of spot treating. And this is just a filter, and all it is just going to kind of, we're just going to kind of darken some spots, provide a little bit of extra depth is kind of what we're going for. And all I'm looking for is just added feature to the base color. I may go in and with some of our original Stormy Gray afterwards with the paintbrush and just kind of darken a couple of these weathered spots down here, because I really like what happened up here. So we may try some of that. But let's see what we get out of this. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And we have to be careful. It's so easy to go overboard with this stuff.
Gives a little bit of color variation.
Yes, that's all we're looking for. Yep.
like that. Okay, guys.
All right, so that's that. And now we're gonna go back with Stormy Sea. I'm gonna add a little bit of darkness to it.
Or give some shadows.
Yeah, we're gonna do some dark spots. This will help us to tone down a little bit of the spot treatment on the underside, and then add some dark splotches.
Adding a little bit of black.
Mhm.
Give it more of a deeper shadow.
Yeah.
Nice.
think that's it.
Nice. Yeah. Just give it very subtle depth in areas. Cool. Michael asked, do we have a figure to go with it? Actually, yes, we do.
We do. We've got a custom figure to go with it.
Custom figure to go with it. Here, I'll show you guys. So, I have a first order trooper.
If you want to show them the super custom figure,
The super custom figure. Do you have a?
you have to open up the max file.
Oh, yeah. Let me open up the max file then, real quick.
We made a special one just for this.
All right, give me 1 sec, guys, and I'll show you. It's taking a sec because we're streaming to 3 different platforms. Give me 1 sec, wait for 3ds Max to open up. Alright. There we go. It's in your recents tab.
Yeah, it'll
The-
be new figure pose complete, I think.
Alright. Yeah. Get that going. Open it up right now, then I'll drop it down and show you guys. Let's take a sec. Come on. There we go. You done hide.
Oh, might be another one. Oh, go to back to recent. That might just be by itself.
Oh, is it by itself? Okay, hold on.
Ready to print. Ready to print or print. Oh, no, that's race speed.
This one right here. Jet speeder ready for print.
No, new figure pose complete. No, that's not it.
Or maybe it's just hidden. Nope. Sorry, 1 sec.
It should be in there. Just unhide all. Maybe.
Oh. Nope.
Oh, yeah, you just gotta shift it over
Okay.
and remove whatever that thing is.
The big guy. Alright. There we go. Give me 1 sec, guys, and shift this. Yeah, you guys are gonna like this. Your tread speeder is sick. There we go. Alright, it's down here. There you guys go. There's the new figure for it. Yeah, the new figure's gonna look a lot better than the previous one we had. Much better posed. Well, it gives it a little bit more action. So. Yeah, adding the blaster hand makes it a little more dynamic. So. Yeah, cool. Glad you guys like it. So we're actually, I think he's printing up right now. So we'll have him.
Yeah, it should be done tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we're not streaming tomorrow, obviously, but we'll be streaming next Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll be able to show that thing off. It'll be done,
Yeah.
ready to go on Wednesday. Okay, cool. So, got a bunch of stuff dumbed down a little bit with that darker color. So, I think that helped a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of the basics are done, which is great.
Nice. Yeah, it definitely looks better.
Let's see.
Michael asked, did we make the Jet Trooper too?
No, we don't have a Jet Trooper.
No.
That's one of the things I think we would have to get commissioned and the tread speeder didn't sell super well. Like, we didn't even make back the money that it cost for us just in time to make the first one. So if somebody wanted us to redo the tread speeder to have the jetpack trooper and then maybe make a new pose with the back end popping up and the jet trooper coming off and all that stuff, like, we're happy to do anything like that, but we have to have a list of at least 50 people that are willing to prepay to get something like that done as a commissioned fan art piece, and then we're happy to get it done. We've got all the people that are needed to be able to do that kind of stuff, but can't take the chance to put in all the labor, and you know, for sculpting we have to prepay a sculptor, and that's not cheap. So so yeah, no, we don't have one, but we're happy to do it if there's enough people that want one. But yes, so back to this guy. So what's next?
Go do the grill.
We've got grill that we can black out. We've got something that we have, looks like some detailing that needs to be done. We've got some nuts and bolts that need to be rusted over.
And of course a little bit on the handlebars too.
Little bits of silver here and there to do.
Okay, those are metal.
And then it looks like we might be switching over to... Let's try to put a plan together, because this is kind of as far as I was expecting to get on the stream today.
Yeah, we're sitting at 2.5 hours roughly for the stream. So what we could do is do the grill, do our clear, you know, to kind of seal it, and then I'll take a look at kind of cure, and pick back up next week.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, let's go ahead and do the grill, and then I think we'll call it for the day. Because we'll need to put a plan together. I need to go through and say, okay, these are the next techniques. Because there is a lot more weathering to do. We've got streaking, we've got lots of little detail pieces together, but I need to put together kind of my little list. So let's go ahead. So this little grill here, you know, technically would be hollowed out. So instead, we're going to make ourselves a little wash of some black. And to make this work, we'll have to use this.
I see, so it kind of fills in the dark bits, and then you wipe off the grill bits.
Well, when it dries, if you do the wash correctly, you don't even have to repaint, but
Nice.
it just kind of depends. I mean, this stuff will dry super fast with a hairdryer. As long as it doesn't blow out and get all over everything that we don't want it to get all over. Sorry, I can't put that one in front of the camera because it sprays everywhere.
Yeah, that looks much better.
Okay.
Nice.
Then we take.
Just chrome brush it. Thanks.
There we go.
Nice.
And that's a beginning. We'll go back through and probably use inks to make that super dark.
Keep it a little grimy. It's sucking up junk.
Whoa. Just totally launched fluid all over this.
Uh-oh.
Crapo. It's like we have some unintentional weathering going on.
Makes it more realistic.
Yeah, right?
Happy accidents, right? That's what Bob Ross usually says. It's happy little accidents. Yeah. That'll be fun.
Alright, we're all good.
Nice, yeah. That's good.
No worries.
Alright.
Okay. Remove all of these little containers before I launch another one full of enamel thinner all over a painted piece.
There you go. Nice. Yeah, I like all the breakup. Gives it a little bit more depth.
So there we go, guys. I think it's looking pretty darn good for a couple hours worth of work. I think we're 6 hours in.
Mm-hmm.
And once we hit the 8-hour mark, I think it's going to be... This will probably be pretty much done.
Yeah.
Because, again, I think all we've really got is just detailing now. We've got oil stains, we've got
Grime.
spot rusting, grime,
Mm-hmm.
and then sand. And
Yep.
then it's really just deciding, okay, what's gloss, what's not gloss. We've got all this handlebar and detail work to do here. And then it's on to figure and base. But I would say we're at probably 75%.
Yeah.
So, pretty cool.
Looking good.
If there are any last questions, please let me know before we hop off the stream. Other than that, we'll be back on Wednesday. I think Wednesday we're going to be at normal time, but next week we are going to try to do an evening stream so that anybody who wants to hang out after work can hop on.
Probably. Yeah, we'll probably do like a 6.
Yeah,
6:30,
probably
something
probably like Central Time, US 6:30
Mhm.
after dinner, and that'll be probably a 3-hour stream at the most.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, aside from that, thanks so much for hanging out with us on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah,
Hopefully the website will be done by next week. We'll see. At least some pages will be done. We'll be working on that this weekend.
Yeah. So you guys hope you have a great weekend, and if you like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Yeah.
All right. Later.